All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. We're going to be looking at something kind of interesting today. It's a podcast called English Dose,
Oh,
and it's about, well, learning English. So it's like we're
uh-huh.
doing a deep dive into a podcast about language learning,
Right.
but that's what we do here on the deep dive. We go deep.
I like it.
So let's talk about what English Dose has to say about language learning. And, more importantly, how can we take those ideas and apply them to learning, well, anything, really?
Well, they really highlight why learning English is important. And I think that's something a lot of people miss. It's easy to get bogged down in the how-to. Like, what are the grammar rules? What are the verb conjugations? What are all the words I need to learn?
Right, you get stuck in the weeds.
Exactly. But why are you doing it in the first place? That's what English Dose wants us to remember.
Yeah, I like that. I remember this quote: language is the roadmap of a culture.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It tells you where its people come from and where they're going. I think that applies here. Learning English, Spanish, whatever it is you're learning, it's not just about, memorizing stuff.
It's about connecting with people, understanding their culture.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's huge in today's world. We're all so interconnected, and this is something English Dose points out. There are something like 1.5 billion English speakers around the globe. Think about that for a minute. That's a lot of people you could potentially connect with.
It's a lot of new friends.
Right. New friends, new colleagues, new clients.
Yeah, if you're doing business internationally, English is basically essential, right?
Pretty much. And it's not just business, academia, technology, travel. So many possibilities open up when you can communicate in English.
So how do we actually do it? How do we learn the language?
Well, English Dose has some practical advice. The big ones are immersion, speaking the language as much as possible, and just incorporating English into your daily life. All pretty standard stuff.
Sure, but sometimes the standard stuff is the stuff that works.
Absolutely. And I think the key is making small, consistent changes. You don't have to overhaul your entire life.
Yeah, start small.
Exactly. Change your phone's language settings to English. Listen to English podcasts.
Ooh, like this one.
Yes,
Right.
exactly like this one. Or even just try thinking in English for a few minutes every day. Little things like that can make a big difference.
I like that. It's all about building habits.
It is. And that's how our brains learn best, through repetition and consistent exposure.
Makes sense. We're creatures of habit.
We are. And this applies to more than just language learning. Think about anything you've ever learned to do well.
Right, like playing an instrument.
Exactly. Or coding or cooking or anything really. It's all about consistent practice and gradually increasing the difficulty.
It's about the journey.
It is. And speaking of the journey, English Dose also talked about celebrating small wins. And I love that. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see results right away.
Especially with language learning. It can feel like you're making zero progress for ages, and then suddenly something clicks.
It's so true. But if you can focus on those little victories, finally understanding a tricky grammar point or having your first basic conversation with a native speaker, those little things can really keep you going.
They keep you motivated.
Exactly. And that's important for any kind of learning. We live in a world that's obsessed with overnight success.
Yeah, everyone wants instant gratification.
Right. But the truth is, most things worth achieving take time and effort. Learning to embrace those small steps is crucial. It's what keeps you moving forward.
I think that's a great point to end on. So for everyone listening, remember, learning English, or any language for that matter, it's not about reaching some kind of magical end goal. There's no finish line.
It's all about the journey.
Exactly. The connections you make, the doors that open, and the ways you expand your understanding of the world and the people in it. And with that, we wrap up another deep dive.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.